At 6:30. I'm going to do roll call. We have Rebecca Hansen, Eugene Thurston, Fire Detail, Andy McDonald, myself, Sharon, of course. Do we have any public comments that are unrelated to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to the agenda, which is a site plan review for PID 216-025, expansion of use for a commercial property. We have the application here. Do we have any comments from the board on the application?
No, I'm pretty familiar with it, thank you, though. I will take 3 copies if it gets approved.
Okay, would the applicant like to give us a quick run-through at this point?
Well,
This is Ellen
yeah, I should
Barnard.
introduce myself.
He's
I'm
the,
Alan Barnard, licensed land surveyor from over to Hebron, just outside of the section that used to be Plymouth till 1792. You know, you gave up Newfound Lake then, we're not giving it back. So, I brought this in, this was a letter to Richard Humphrey, who's here this evening, that owns the business and runs the business, has for years. But this letter was basically why he's here.
it was in their packet, so I hope
What's in your
they've-
packet already?
That's the
Okay.
same one, so I hope they've had a chance to.
January 7th. It just shows that he was given, the letter was dated January 7th, 2016, said his project for the addition to this building, which is on Mayhew Turnpike, out here on Route 3A, if you're familiar where Yetton's Oil was and the gas pumps were right across the road from there. Most people know this site because Dick's been there since the early 80s. He's planned a 18 by 24 addition. It's shown on the plan right here in a different little bit of highlighting color. And when he went to the town for his building permit, there was a little bit of confusion in regards to that he needed to go to site plan review. So the letter was sent to him from Brian Murphy, making him aware that he needed to go through site plan review because of the square footage that triggered it. We didn't have time to get into the February meeting just because of the time to file the application, that sort of thing, but Dick jumped right on it and had me do it, so here we are in March. So that's just letting you know, give you a little brief history. As you can see on the plan, we've shown the existing building and the addition basically for additional office space. He's had a little cubicle in there, not very big, and he wants additional room in his building. I gave it on the narrative for the application and also requested 5 waivers. One of them being Grafton County Soil Survey. Since this is an existing property, the building is on an area that was just directly adjacent to it, so there's no expansion of parking. The existing septic system and the approved system is there. Doesn't need to be expanded because that's based on the number of employees. The other buildings there and the driveway was all existing, so I was asking for a waiver in regards to that. I asked for a waiver in regards to the existing and proposed grades. As again, this is all constructed, it's there, and if you look, I've supplied 4 photos showing the building. Also gave a height of the building on the end of the building to give you an idea of that. Elevation of the first floor exists and is supplied in the existing photos. And again, I gave the elevation from the floor up to show that it was conforming. The new addition is considerably lower than the existing building now. The height, that height actually was from ground to the ridge was 21.3 feet on that existing building. Number 4 was the provisions for future expansion of sewage and water as they both exist and are functional and acceptable at the current time. And number 5, there was no need for a drainage plan. Area is existing, and again, all functional, has been for, well, since the 80s. Those are the 5 criteria in regards going through the application on the checklist I'm requesting waivers for. I just wanted to get that to the forefront once I show the plan. The plan, as you can see, this is a shared driveway coming in off of Mayhew Turnpike, coming into the auto body as well as the puffers. We have existing storage building, we've shown that and dimensioned it. The auto body shop, which is shown and dimensioned. The addition to the shop for the office is 18 by 24, which is 434 square feet is the expansion that he is planning. I showed the existing signs at the road, the wells, as you can see, with the on-site radiuses for the wells. I say the approximate location of the septic system, that's fairly close, but without digging it up, you know, I'm within a couple feet. That's obtained from the original septic plan. I've shown an interior stone wall because that's there. It's nice to have that as a reference. I've also, on the one we submitted next to the puffer line, we had a couple cars that were over the line. Since then, he has moved them. I know he's here this evening. Dick and I had met with him, and he's in the process of relocating the structures, as you can see, not structures, but the storage containers that are there off of the property. Of course, that's between Dick and Mr. Puffer, but so that's not a part of this project. We've shown the trash and concrete pad for the dumpster, and the enclosure has a wood fence enclosure, which I think shows up in one of the photos. If you look at the photos at the top, the 4 photos, I've cross-referenced those with P1, 2, 3, and 4 shown on the plan with an arrow so you know where they were taken from. So that helps you there. Also, in case if there's any questions, which we can pass around, I brought in an overlay off of Google Earth that shows the boundary lines in regards to the structural property and buildings. So you can see it, you can pass it around, but the black lines you can see all the buildings in the open area of the lot, because I have the lot coverage shown here. We have 21% of the lot covered by buildings, driveways, and what's considered impervious area according to your regs. So I'll leave that here in case anybody wanted to look at it closer. But it gives a nice reference to show you how the lot is treed and open, and it also shows some additional buildings. I didn't know if one of the abutters out back where you go out Tall Pines Road, if there was any question how close that was to this for any reason. At least this one shows it. As you can see, that building's quite a ways from here. So that's just a tool to help you look at the property. The parking areas, I came up with utilizing he has 3 bays for the shop, and basically 3 employees counting himself, and we feel more than adequate parking that's utilized for that. Shown the 9 by 19 is required in your regulations, and I know that's a review that the board does in the planner. So, but we felt that fit the requirements. So that all being said, that's kind of it in a nutshell. The only thing he needs, he's going to finish obviously the building, the siding, etc. But there will be repaving of the area of the yard where when they did the structure, they tore up some of the pavement. So that is going to be repaved, and where we had shown gravel. And I put right in there gravel to be repaved, just so that you're aware of that. And again, I counted that as impervious, the gravel area anyhow. Also, I included all the parking, even though some of the parking is partially on grass as well as gravel. I still included all that area as impervious area for the purposes of this application. So I think it's pretty well straightforward. We have the setbacks, the 30 and the 15, as you see, well behind the setback on the road. I have the existing display area up by the road. Dick has with him tonight because he's been in auto sales since, 2001, which he came to the town and he has the, you have a letter or whatever they signed off.
This was actually from June Hammond. I don't know. I
She
don't
was
even
my
remember.
predecessor
Yeah,
sometime
yeah,
ago.
and because basically to get a deal, like the town has to sign off. So but she sent me this letter in October 2001. So
So he's been doing that since then, because I know that was a question that you had
Yeah.
asked me about at the time. So I had him bring that with him tonight, and he can answer all the questions on the operations, because he's, again, been there since the beginning. So I think that's, without belaboring over every single line on the plan, I would appreciate any input from the board.
Any comments from the board on the completeness of the application? If not, can I have a motion on the application,
To accept.
to accept it or not?
I move that we accept the application.
Second? Second. Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Application's been complete. I think at this time, we would like to open the public hearing.
Would you like to consider the request for waivers? That does require a vote, a motion and a vote.
At
That
this
being,
time,
yeah, that being, well, sometime in the process, but that being because our application is somewhat one size fits all. This is a pre-developed lot, so some of this stuff is extraneous and overkill in terms of the application. That's the gist of asking for the waivers.
okay, so we need a motion to approve the requested waivers, is that correct? Might as well do that now.
I move that we approve the 5 requested waivers.
Have a second? Second. Okay, and Dean? If there are no objections, we will approve those waivers. They're approved. All right, so now we'll move to the public hearing. And we'll open the public hearing at 17 minutes of 7. Is there anyone present that would like to speak in favor of this application? Please state your name and residence. Frank?
Frank Miller. Appears that this request for an addition is in keeping with the zone character and the character of the neighborhood, and looks like it would be something that would be beneficial.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak not in favor or of a general nature about this
Do you
application?
have a butters present?
I'm Britta Puffer, and this is my husband Brad. We are, totally for this and approve it and think it's a great idea.
Great, thank you. All right, any additional comments on this application? Seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing at 7:15 and bring it back to the board with any questions that they may have for the applicant.
I would just like to say that the site plan regulations, as I listed in the planner report, that's where this 100 square foot maximum prior to, that's the trigger for site plan in a commercial or multifamily entity. So that's why Mr. Humphrey's here, because
The
it's-
100 square feet.
Yeah.
More than that, yeah.
my first question to Brian was, do I need a site plan? He said no. So Brian wasn't really sure at the time, and so that's what happened there. And if I could ask you, when on your building permits, when it says setback areas, if you look at them carefully, it says 30 feet from the road.
Mhm.
It really should say from the road right away, shouldn't it? We measured from the right of way to the stone wall, 30 feet. I mean, there's a discrepancy.
No, it's not a setback from the road. It's your property line,
Right,
the edge of your property line 30 feet in
right,
to add that additional buffer.
right,
Yeah.
right. I don't have an issues with what the puffer have out front, but everybody's, because I know you had mentioned to me at one time about car sales.
We haven't spoken.
Well, no, that
Alan.
came back through.
But,
Yeah, okay.
the
Yeah.
thing is, Brian, when because it's a little vague, it doesn't say that in the permit. It should say to your lot line, and it
Yeah.
says to
Well-
it says to the road.
Well,
So if you measure from the road, in this case, there's quite a discrepancy.
I'd have to look at it to see, but just protocol-wise,
Yeah.
you know, he sees something, we see something, then
Yeah.
you start at the beginning, which starts in the planning department
Right,
office. And
right.
then the second step after approval is the building permit, and then, you know, you can hash out the particulars of that with him. But in terms of the setbacks this board's concerned with, unless you're putting in a sign, then that would be road right-of-way on the center line. This board is dealing with anyone's property line, front property line from your point of access 30 feet in. So it's just to give everybody a little more breathing room from the cars on the highway and everything.
Right, but I know you had mentioned to
Mm-hmm.
Alan about selling cars in the setback area.
Right, I mean, it's a display area. I mean, the cars, Alan said to me, the cars are transient. You just don't want too much.
Yeah, but I mean,
Going on.
here's now, there's a picture of what Brian, this has already been approved.
Mm-hmm.
And this is theirs next door. I don't have an issue with the building, but obviously, they're not 30 feet from the
Yeah, but
stone
that's
wall.
not a car either. So, I mean, I'm just
But it's a
saying.
structure. You just put a structure in the setback area. You see what I mean? If they have a structure in the setback area, why can't I just sell cars there? It's not like I sell a ton of cars.
No,
there.
I'd have to, I
Fine.
can't guarantee that's
point of
within
order?
the-
Yeah.
Is this,
That's
and I'm sorry to
This is-
interrupt, is this relevant
No,
to
it's
this
not.
discussion?
Not particularly.
In the sense, yes, because
To the application.
the planner's recommendation is that the cars be
But see, I
kept
mean,
out.
this
of
is the
setback.
pin,
thank
this is the
So it is
stone wall in
relevant.
front.
Thank you.
This
Yeah,
is-
but I don't know what their property is. I guess it's similar, but all I'm saying is.
I know, because I used to own
Yeah,
it.
well, this is just cautionary, which is my prerogative to say that. We just want to make sure, because there are vehicles, that they don't drift. You know what I mean? I mean, as long as they stay where they're supposed to stay, that's fine. But you know, it's adjacent to Route 3A, and it's vehicles. I mean, sometimes they could impede the driver's vision, people going by. All I'm saying is just be cautious, please, that's all.
Yeah,
Just don't let it drift.
There's nothing there, even my sign hangs back or where, but.
Well, I guess Dick's trying to make a couple points, I'd just like to try to clarify it before, and I know you thought it wasn't germane, but it is to some degree. One of the reasons why Dick gets confused in regard to the setbacks is each town is a little bit different. He's a resident of Hebron, just like myself, and in Hebron, when you say setback, it's from the travel surface.
Right.
So that gets confusing, and he's just asking for the building permit to say from the road limit or the right-of-way limit that
Yeah.
the setback.
Well, Brian can discuss that with you.
So that's just the point he's making as far as the application, and that's why we also brought in, since 2001, he has been selling cars in this area, which we don't feel was part of the site plan review for the addition. So that's the point we're making in regards to the sales.
No, it's not part of this site plan
Right.
review, but I'm just saying that it's,
Yeah.
because you're looking at that area of the lot, so just, keep it,
And there is considerable distance, as you can see, from here to the edge of the travel surface where they come in and out for the ingress and egress to it. It doesn't impede any line of sight.
Okay,
or
that's all,
anything.
it's just a
Because
recommendation.
what's nice here, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's cleared very nicely all the way back to the stone wall in this area. And I think that shows up very well in one of the photos, especially P2. As you can see that, because that kind of shows the entire frontage along there, as well as you can look at the overlay here, but P2 especially shows it.
Yeah, what this 15-foot, I'm reading the verbiage I wrote here, this is a parking setback.
Right.
That's where the 15, it's a parking setback within a frontage setback,
Correct.
so.
And as you can see, I don't,
Yep.
and most of the time, I suspect it wouldn't be any closer than the 15 if you split that in half, as you.
Well, I mean, I scaled it, it's almost 15. I'm just saying, I've got to be the hard guy on this because,
Oh, I know.
because the zoning says parking, which is a display area,
Right.
because they're stationary and parked, you don't want to go past 15 feet. If it's
Which it can be done within this area.
6 inches in or some, nobody's going to come and bust you, but we just want that to be observed, that is all.
But we were definitely forthcoming, showing exactly what's there, so we're not trying to cheat on that 2 or 3 feet.
Nope.
Yeah, and I appreciate it.
to speak at all? Or
Sure, you can.
I have no idea how this works, and I apologize for that. In regards to where my plethora is, I haven't started anything without approval through the town and tape measure with Brian. And that's all on record. I've had the bank there, I did a tax abatement, I've had, many people there throughout, and I have all my paperwork for it. From my understanding, is what Brian said, is since we're a single-family dwelling, that has something to do with, where we started the store as far as exactly with the tape measure where I do it. So I just wanted to make sure that, all my paperwork is in line from, as far as I know, with the town and Brian and everything. So I don't know if it's different because we're a single.
Well, unfortunately, the regulations are, you're a home occupation.
Yeah.
This is a commercial entity, so
And that's how I
unfortunately, the
understood
rules, the stringencies of the regulations are different. It's maddening, but is what it is.
I just, and that's, I work well with the town, I want to
Yep, nope,
cross all my
that's,
Ts.
and,
So I just want to make sure that that's.
yeah, dealing with Brian on this issue is perfectly fine for you guys because you're not
Okay.
doing anything new, so you're not coming to these
Okay,
folks.
great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions from the board on the application, Bill?
So I got a question about the display area. Funny thing, but now is that display area being modified in any way, or is this?
No, it's just there.
I mean, at the room, probably at the most, 3 cars out there at a time, at the most, to sell. Right now, there's 0 out there.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not,
No, this is what I mean. It comes and goes, and it's all perfectly fine. It's just that it has to stay in place.
And are the cars parked like or
a little bit
perpendicular to the
well,
road, right up on?
It would depend. You can move them around. I mean, there's plenty of room there to move them around. So, I would say generally there's somewhat of an angle to the road on the average.
Just to display like a side of a car?
Yeah.
And are they nosed into that front area there, or?
No, there's actually plenty of room.
So, did you have a vehicle in it when I took the picture?
No, I don't think so.
Your truck maybe. That'd be it.
No, actually, it's reduced, but there was, these were there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, on P1 does show it, even though it's
Yeah.
reduced.
Right.
If you look closely, my truck was parked right up at the edge of the road limit. That's the black structure you see.
Yeah, okay.
The red one and the car to the right of it were in that display area when we did the work. Like Dick says, it's nothing there right now.
Yeah.
But that shows you how small impact those particular ones were.
Okay.
So at least we did have a couple in there going forward.
I have a question for Sharon. So what's the difference between the parking lot and the display area as far as the regulations are concerned?
Because it's not, no one is driving a vehicle in there to do business there. These are Mr. Humphrey's vehicles that are for sale, and he's got the authorization for it, so it's...
So it's not parking?
It's gray as usual. It's display parking.
Is that addressed specifically in the regulations?
Of course not. Of course not. It's arbitrary and capricious. No, it's just, as I said, and,
I mean, if we called it parking, would it conform?
no. Well, almost. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it would. It would.
If you did actually, like had been mentioned earlier, it can go within, you can split that 30 feet to 15 for the parking, correct? You just mentioned you can use 15 of the 30 for
Yes,
parking.
yeah.
So there's adequate area.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Even if you said not to go closer than 15 feet to the road limit, you still have the same display area. Matter of fact, the 2 vehicles he had there were 20 feet from the wall then, because I was able to drive in and turn around. So even when he displays, it meets.
Yep, it's not from the road area, it's from the property line.
Right.
So, all I'm saying is, because it's a mobile display area,
Right.
just please try to keep it
Correct.
where it is.
And
That's
the
all.
gravel edge might be closer than 15, but they have the right to pull in, pull up on the gravel, and then back. the
We're not
cars
gonna
back.
bust anybody for
Rebecca?
6 inches, I know.
I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. I'm going to beat the dead horse for a second. So I just want to make sure, so we're saying that if the cars were parked here, that's an issue. If they're parked here, it's fine, right? It's where they are in that lot.
Which cars? The cars that...
The display
Right,
cars.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Semi-permanent parked area.
Right. And we're not depicting it as a parking.
No,
area
because the
So
cars
that
come
helps
and
to go
go.
There, it's on record that it's not a parking area, it's
No,
a display.
you
area,
have
right.
different cars being put in that area for display for sale. So some get sold and some don't, and some disappear and new ones come in. It's transient, if you will. But, you know, I just.
Sometimes people don't pay their bills, so he needs to sell the cat, right?
No, it's just, it's a front, it's a frontage, it's right there on, you know, approaching the road. So I'm just saying, everybody please remember that it is approaching the road and there are regulations, that's all.
Any other questions from the board? I have a motion in which, in that case,
Motion to approve the application?
I have a second.
Second.
Is that Andy?
Yep.
And Brian? Yeah.
All right, we have a motion to approve the application with the planner's request at the end of her report.
Cautionary,
Usual
that's all.
boilerplate. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Good to go.
All right.
Since it's already structured already there, probably well.
Oh, do you want to record it?
Well, yeah, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea.
All right, sure. Well, then you'll have to give me more money for the registry at some point, but we can record it. For $9? No, it's not.
For 500.
No.
It said planning for the building. I don't know, look at that.
That is for my time to fight with the Registry of Deeds. Recording, processing,
Right,
$9 per sheet.
that's correct.
Right.
What does
Are you
recording-
pulling my leg?
No. What does recording processing mean?
That means that I, in my spare time, process the Mylar and send it to the Registry of Deeds where you have your L-chip fees
The rea-
and your
the-
stuff.
The reason we say that is when you pay, you know, $500 in fees and a $9 processing, no, we really did. I really did think that was in the fees.
Nope. Sorry, that's, I didn't make this up. That's the protocol. So you're welcome to, you know, do it yourself.
That'd be fine. If you want to sign it, you'll take care of it.
Okay, sure.
And I'll pick it up.
Well, he can sign it right now, so.
That's,
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
I have to admit, though, I really thought it was included.
Okay, moving on the agenda. We have some minutes here from March 3rd.
Okay, sure. They'll be signed tonight, so you can pick them up whenever,
Which
tomorrow,
was-
whatever.
Mostly about the survey. We have any comments on the minutes?
I don't know if it's a comment. I wasn't at that meeting, so let me ask this question. As I was reading through the minutes, Brian and I were talking today with, and maybe this is for after, but for what we were looking at and who we were looking at for our committee. There is a little bit of crossover with some of the town officials. Is that something where we want to have, do we want to have, and I think it was Chief LaFave or yes, and Chief Cluxton. There were a handful of people. Is it the idea that we want to get them involved in both of those because of the purviews of each of those? Or is the idea, I just wanted to, we were talking about that and we weren't sure if it was, if we were,
Yep, thank you.
thank you guys. If it was the,
You mean the two different groups, you mean?
yeah, I know they have different purviews, but
Yeah,
from the.
I would think so, because you're
that's
going
what
to
I
be
thought.
discussing different
Yeah,
topics.
that's what I
Different
thought.
topics, so.
Just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
that, so.
All right, well, let's get these minutes out of the way. Do we have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
No objections, approved? Okay. Before we talk about survey stuff, master plan stuff, do anything more from you, Sharon?
No,
No
no,
new business? Okay. So, where are we on the survey and the master planning process? 3 of our dates have been booked.
You
I
would,
believe there's one still not booked for the 26th of May.
Tara is taking care of that.
So she's gonna book the senior center or something.
I mean, is that what you see? There's a lot of
Thought she
emails,
was,
so,
but
yeah.
there's been a lot of cooks in this pot
Yeah,
of soup,
yeah,
so.
it's rather confusing.
So let's confirm with Tara that she's gonna book the
Okay.
senior center for
All right.
that.
And that would be for the
26th
26th
of
for your,
May.
I think May
I think I put
26th
that in
is the
there.
business.
I'm sorry. 12th, I'm sorry. Yeah, this. All right, so we have April 27, just so everybody's on the same page, because I managed to totally confuse things, looking at the calendar about something else. April 27th, that's PSU. May 12th is you guys, you need the venue, probably this, no, that's library. Which one again is, we can't have the library for, would be the 26th.
It was the middle one, whichever one that was. I think it's 26.
Yeah, and that is yours. You and
That's at the
John's.
library?
No,
No.
the 26th, that was undetermined, and
Determined, yeah.
I gotta look at my emails too, because I don't know if Tara was suggesting that I was gonna see if I can
We'll let you
reschedule
know. We're just, this is kind of subcommittee chitter chatter.
So May
I
12th is the
spoke to
library?
Adam at the library, and he said the conflict was that the next group was in promptly at 5. So if we could be out at 4:45, maybe it would work.
Or is there a possibility of negotiating with that group that
I don't know who.
maybe they could
who
find
it
another
is.
room or something like that, or we could offer them another room? You know, the town hall or something. Depending upon the size of the group, I don't know. So
Is there an overriding reason to make them all at the library?
I think that was just for
That was just
sticks
to
in
not.
people's minds.
Yeah, that's all, but change of venue is fine. I mean, we're gonna have advertising for this, so,
All right,
I'll
so
have
should we check
specifics.
with the library once more in the group that has that room at 5? I mean, they can shift to 5:15. I mean,
So what time are our meetings running?
3 to 5.
oh,
of them?
across the board? Okay, I
Oh,
wasn't sure.
Is that-
Yeah, I thought it was just that
I thought
first
they were all
one.
at
Yeah.
6:30.
So did I.
Well, you
Yeah.
may be shooting yourself in the foot.
3 to, yeah.
3 to 5 was that first one. Yeah, we
Yes,
definitely nailed that one
PSU.
down, because Jim Unriser's availability.
Right.
but-
Oh, I thought they were all 3 to 5, but
I thought we were going to be doing it at the same time as these meetings.
that's what I thought,
Yeah.
Okay.
evening.
3 to 5 is a bit more of a struggle for me.
I think it is for a
Yeah.
lot of you. And your audience, perhaps, so.
all right, well, that library will have to be completely rescheduled.
Oh, isn't this fun?
Is there any reason that it can't,
Which
like,
fun is this survey?
meetings have to stay at a certain time? I know it's like,
No, I mean, you're trying to
Sticks in
accommodate
people's mind.
everybody, unfortunately, and yourselves and your audience.
but if it's good for a 3 to 5 for
PSU.
PSU,
Yeah.
then
Right,
it should
but-
stay at
Yeah.
3 to 5. But if it's good for, you know, the majority, to get the majority of people there that we need, then I think that we should try and accommodate those people.
I mean, I think in particular for the business people,
Yeah.
3 to 5 isn't going to be a great
Yeah.
time.
All right, so what's the time slot we're shooting for?
I thought we said 6:30 to 8:30.
That's what I was.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
It's done, 6:30 to 8:30. I'll call the library.
Thank you, and reschedule those two. That's okay, this is part of the drill.
Blame it all on
It's
Rebecca.
the devil in the details, so, welcome to my world. Okay.
What was that last? So we got 512, 526, and what was the last one?
6-2. All right, so I'll check with Tara.
So now,
I know, that's what-
This is,
Skunk walk across my yard this morning.
oh yeah. A little bit early. I know there. I guess
Bears are out
Bears
already.
are out too. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
yeah, they got in my garbage the other day.
Did they really?
Yeah, I was.
Okay,
not
so,
expecting that.
as far as data entry is concerned, are you ready for
Josie's-
volunteers, or?
Plugging away, I've got Josie working on it, but, I mean, it would expedite things. This is, what is this, though? 17. So we've got 5 weeks until our, let's call it a month, until our first roundtable where we'd want the data entry. I don't know. Does
Are we-
anyone have time? I mean, I know you don't. You've done a lot. You've all done a lot. You really have, and I appreciate it very much. Do you want to come in and, Josie won't be here till next Tuesday,
Well, I just don't know how it's going.
to expedite? Well, it's going well. We've got an awful lot of responses, which is wonderful, and there's an awful lot of narrative, a lot of commentary. So she's trying to kind of extrapolate that, or give a synopsis.
Could I mention the fact that, so I called Bruce Parsons at the high school, and, he welcomed the whole, project of having all of his students that live in Plymouth fill out the form
Oh, good.
online. So I'm sure my daughter's really thanking me for that, but, they all had to march off to the library, or where the computer lab is, and it was either English or math or something like that, so,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
yep. Anyway,
Okay, so I guess if things like it's not going well.
Why
send
don't,
out
yeah,
another warrant.
I will. Oh, I will.
People
I
will
will.
come help.
Yeah.
I'll come help.
But she's, Rebecca worked on, setting up a secondary spreadsheet, and so.
If
It's
you
just-
don't
it's
really-
Using the spreadsheet, or has she actually been able to enter it into
No,
Survey
she's actually doing Survey Monkey, but I mean, you guys had to, it was,
Any sense
we'll all
on-
know what we're doing by the time we're done.
Any sense of how far, I mean, is she like at 5%, 10%?
I don't know. I don't
Why don't you
know.
ask her how far along she is compared to how much she's got to do?
Yeah, I will. We only see her twice a week, so maybe,
Just to make sure we don't get caught behind the 8 ball at the last
Yeah.
minute.
yeah. I'll try to send her an email. Okay. They seem to have slowed down. The receipt seems to have slowed down a little bit, but maybe the high school thing hasn't.
it's online.
So they've already started, the kids have already started?
Well, they're done.
Oh, they're done? Okay, good.
response rate looked pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that email component or online component is good. Okay.
Any other comments on the master plan process?
No, a lot of people are coming in and happy that they're able to participate in the survey, the ones that are hand delivering, so that's positive feedback.
There's a few people in the school that talked to me about how wonderful it was and how they felt like they got a chance to say what they needed to say. So
Yeah. No,
it was good to
that's
hear.
Did you take the compliment? Because,
Oh, all of it.
yeah. Thank you very much.
You spent all night mailing those.
Yeah. Working on this.
Yeah, who wasn't here when we were like folding all those things? Putting the stickers on?
Let's see.
We're in Disney World with 3 little
I was,
kids, so I
let's see, where was I at that
don't know
time?
which was.
There was a specific place I was at that time.
Yeah, I sent you a picture, don't worry.
Yeah.
I felt like I was here.
Okay, so we're closing out of this plan. Any other new business, old business?
That's it for now.
Any comments from the public before we call tonight?
I have point of information on your setback system, and there is a system. Majority of the setbacks that deal with town ordinance is to deal with control of the land, i.e. the power to determine the use or non-use of a piece. So that's why we have setbacks from boundary lines. Rights of ways, you don't have, you may own the land in general, but you don't have the authority to act to modify that right of way. That 15-foot setback for display area is a function of safety, whereas it may interfere with the utilization of vehicles as far as visual effects. And obviously you have your DES setbacks for septic, your open water problems, and so there's a whole series of different type of setbacks and their authority from the agencies that grant them. But for local political setback systems that we've voted on, that setback system is based on your ability to control the use or non-use of that property is respect for building. And so that, and of course, it also depends on which zone you're in and whether it's parking systems, which we have different setback systems for each zone, and that makes it muddy. So anyway, that's what I heard from the conversation, the confusion between a setback from a right-of-way versus a setback from a fixed object like the road. It gets into combination of safety plus what our citizens have voted for visual effects of how it looks. So,
Thank you, Frank.
yeah.
Becca, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I was waiting for other business.
Okay.
I just wanted to let everyone know that as of the end of April, I will no longer be on the Conservation Commission. I'm letting my appointment lapse. So I won't be the representative for the Conservation Commission. The Conservation Commission is looking for a representative on the planning board. So I just wanted to throw that out there to everyone. They're also looking for more members, so I also just wanted to share that with the rest of the board. So if you know of anyone who might be interested in the Conservation Commission, and I know we're full as far as full members,
Right.
but an alternate, a new alternate could could act as the Conservation Commission representative.
And by the way, I will fairly soon be looking at all your appointment status and letting whoever needs to re-up for 2017 know and everything get reappointed. Because I think there's just one or two, I can't remember whom, but a lot of folks came in, in somebody else's half-term and stuff, so it's once again, it's clear as mud. But I'll figure it out because I have the data, so I'll let you know. And that just necessitates a letter to the Board of Selectmen asking for reappointment, so it's not rocket science.
You still okay with being board?
Yes, she's not going anywhere,
My appointment is not up on the planning board.
Okay.
nor is she going anywhere.
No.
I already told her she's not going.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, there are no objections, we're done.